The Supreme Court agreed to hear a second case to potentially revive President Biden's student loan forgiveness plan.
That case will be heard in February alongside another one of the justices had already agreed to hear. So
to dig into this, let's bring in former U.S. Attorney Barbara McQuade. She's also a law professor at the University of Michigan Law School and an NBC News legal contributor. Barbara, good to see you. So first, just explain to us this second case. I know it involves two holders of federal student debt. There are a lot of us, though. So what exactly are they arguing, though, in this case, and how is this case different from the others?
This case is coming out of the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, and unlike the first one, which has some substantive arguments, this is a procedural argument. It's brought by a conservative group called the Job Creators Network, and it says that the Biden administration failed to follow the Administrative Procedures Act, the notice and comment period that normally precedes one of these kinds of programs. It gives people the opportunity to lodge any complaints. And in this case, as you mentioned, there are two people who obtained loans who wanted to make comments, one of whom had a private source for a loan who would wanted to say, why not me? And another who would say, I took one of these loans, but why is it limited to $10,000 or $20,000? And so that procedural dispute is what is at issue in this new case.
Well, Barbara, we know that the Biden plan allows eligible borrowers to cancel up to $20,000 in federal loan debt, but students owe an average of nearly $38,000 in federal loans. So those who are challenging the debt relief plan essentially have to show legal standing to sue in the first place. So a couple of questions. One, how do they show that? And two, what are the chances of a successful argument here?
Well, you're absolutely right about that. And so in this instance, we do have taxpayers who say they would have lodged a statement procedurally under the Administrative Procedures Act. So they may have a good argument there. The other case, the one that came out of the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals that had the substantive argument, came from states who say that the president is engaging in a power grab, is violating states' rights and the separation of powers that are described in the Constitution. And so I think on standing, they may have an argument there. It isn't simply a taxpayer who says, you're taking money out of my pocket. They are individuals and states who will stand to lose as a result of this. And I also am concerned that this court in particular has shown a willingness to undercut what it considers the administrative state, non-congressional use of power to achieve things like this loan forgiveness program. So I do worry that the current makeup of the court could be eager to strike this program down.
And Barbara, I just heard you refer to the impact of all this on the individual. It strikes me that the plan being tied up in court leaves millions of borrowers in limbo. We know the president has again paused student loan payments until at least June. So how long can the president keep extending this moratorium, and what does it mean for borrowers?
It is a problem. You know, if you are thinking about taking advantage of this relief, every day that there is a delay means you cannot plan your life accordingly. So President Biden has said he's going to extend it. It's based on the HEROES Act, which is a COVID-based relief plan through June 30th, and he has the ability to do that. But as you say, as the COVID pandemic subsides, there will no doubt be challenges that say this is no longer tied to COVID. You are just trying to use this as debt relief permanently. So at some point, I imagine there will be a challenge even to that. But June makes some sense to me. You know, that's the end of the Supreme Court's term. And so by the end of June, we should know the outcome of these two cases. And so that would give the Biden administration an opportunity to assess its options going forward.
Yeah, a lot of students, a lot of borrowers watching that one very closely. Barbara, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.